welcome to the deep dive. Today we are taking a really extensive journey, a truly deep look into one of the most celebrated figures in the history of the American Pit Bull Terrier.
A true legend.
A true legend, yeah. And his story is preserved in these incredible detailed records of the game dog world. And this isn't just going to be a discussion of stats. This is about unpacking the specific genius.
Right, the genetic blueprint.
And that unwavering heart that really defined a champion.
That's absolutely right. And for those of you who really appreciate the intricacy of pure pedigree history and the strategy behind these legendary contests, well, we're going straight into the sources, the ones that detail the life and record of GR CH Adams and Crutchfield's art. And he wasn't just a dog, He was an intellectual force in the pit.
Yeah.
He earned the incredible distinction of 7xw, that's 7 wins, and then later the Register of Merit, or ROM.
And when you look at the records, from the 1970s, Art's name just stands out. It's not just for the wins, but for the almost universal reverence that's attached to him.
Everyone knew him?
Everyone knew him. He was universally known as the dog with the heart. But what really made Art's legend take flight, it wasn't just physical dominance. It was this almost unbelievable cocktail of qualities.
A mix of everything.
Supreme intelligence, an uncanny balance between when to attack and when to defend, and that defining, that unassailable quality of gameness.
Our mission today, for you, the listener, is to really move beyond that nickname. We want to unpack the tangible details that are in the historical records.
Let's get to the specifics.
We need to dissect the specifics of his record to show exactly how this rare blend of brains and brawn truly set him apart from every contemporary of his era. He was just a masterclass in strategic efficiency.
And before we jump in, a quick but really crucial note for our audience.
Yep.
If you find this detailed history compelling, and we know a lot of you do, the sources we're drawing from, and truly hundreds of hours more of this kind of incredible, intricate historical record, are preserved and available for you.
They're out there.
You can find these essential stories by visiting APBT INFO on the web, or you can check out their comprehensive YouTube channel. They are really the custodians of this heritage.
It is a phenomenal resource. They're ensuring these detailed histories are not lost to time. And when we talk about Art, we're talking about more than just a famous dog. His career, it provides a masterclass in genetics meeting strategy.
Right.
He was the definition of pit-wise. He understood the dynamics, the contest, and resource management better than perhaps any dog before or since.
That sets the perfect stage. Let's unpack this history, and let's start at the very foundation. The origins, his pedigree, and the unexpected early challenges he faced.
The breeding foundation for Art was expertly laid by the breeder, a man named Clayton. The genetics here, this is the key to understanding Art's natural abilities. His sire was Clayton's Eli Jr., who was a 2xw in his own right.
So a proven competitor already.
Oh yeah, marking him as a proven competitor with significant game qualities. And his dam was Clayton's Java. This wasn't just a chance pairing, this was a pairing designed for high-caliber results.
We have to pause on his sire, Eli Jr., because the sources introduce this somber note of symmetry right at the very beginning.
It's a bit tragic, yeah.
Art's story is tragically mirrored by his father. Eli Jr. also met an unfortunate end. He was stolen.
Right, which prematurely ended his stud career.
And when you see a pattern like that, two dogs of such profound caliber becoming targets, it really speaks volumes about their perceived genetic value, doesn't it?
It speaks to the recognition by others that this bloodline produced something irreplaceable.
Yeah.
And the strength of that genetic cross Eli Jr. and Java is undeniable when you look at the entire litter.
It wasn't a one-off?
No. When a pedigree is proven, it's proven through consistency, and this litter was a testament to that.
So tell us about the siblings, because they really confirm that Art wasn't an anomaly, but he was the peak of this really high-quality genetic foundation.
Indeed. We often focus on the grand champion, but Art was part of a legendary group. The litter included several extremely well-regarded dogs who went on to achieve their own fame and titles.
Like who?
You have 00, Catfish, Patty, Little Java, and Trees Hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, Trees Hurt in particular really solidified the reputation of the litter. To have that many proven competitors emerge from one single breeding, it just shows that the consistency, the power, and the gameness were deeply encoded in this specific cross.
Right.
It tells us that Clayton, the breeder, he understood exactly what he had put together.
Yet, despite this obviously stellar lineage, I mean a 2xw sire and a litter full of champions, the historical accounts note that Art was met with some surprising skepticism early on.
Yeah, that's true.
Some critics dismissed him outright as being purebred. For our listener who might be less familiar with that specific historical jargon, what exactly does the term purebred imply in this context, and why was it such a potent insult?
That terminology is absolutely critical because it casts doubt on the core value proposition of the dog. To be called purebred, it means critics believed his lineage was unreliable, maybe mixed, or that it lacked the true, inherent, foundational game heritage that defines the breed's worth.
So not just a physical thing.
No, not at all. Essentially, they were saying his success, if he had any, would be a fluke.
I see.
That he would be physically capable, but he would lack the psychological drive, the consistency, and the depth of character required of a truly game dog.
So the challenge wasn't necessarily about his body, but it was about his spirit.
About his heart.
And the integrity of his ancestry.
Exactly. It's an attack on credibility.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't move or look like the prevailing aesthetic ideal of a pit dog at the time, or perhaps there was some internal rivalry. Who knows? But the historical record, it provides the only necessary response to that skepticism.
The proof is in the pudding, as they say.
Art's phenomenal, irrefutable string of 7 victories provided the evidence. When a dog performs systematically at that level, the critics are silenced by the reality of the score sheet.
Nothing left to argue.
His performance established his greatness, and it rendered all those pedigree arguments secondary to his proven ability.
That is the ultimate rebuke. And that ability, it began to manifest itself almost immediately, which leads us right into our second section where we analyze the defining matches that revealed his strategic genius.
Art's debut was nothing short of explosive. It set a tone of overwhelming efficiency. His first match was a victory over Bulk's dog, and it was finished in an astonishingly quick time.
How quick?
1 minute and 20 seconds.
1 minute 20. In the world of high-stakes competition, that is a lightning strike.
Yeah.
That indicates immediate power, control, and a decisive finishing capability.
It absolutely does. It showed he possessed the initial physical tools necessary to end a contest immediately if the opportunity presented itself. His second match against Job's dog was longer, took 39 minutes, but it was similarly dominant. So these initial wins, they established his speed and determination. But, like you said, it was his third match that truly revealed the hidden factor.
The intellect.
The strategic intellect that would define his legacy.
Okay, let's focus on match 3. Who was the opponent, and why was this such a defining moment for him?
The third match pitted Art against Burton and the Plumber's Jade. Now, Jade was not just a competitor. He was a titan of his day, a heavy, Debo-bred dog.
And for the listener, what does Debo-bred imply?
Well, the Debo line is historically associated with immense stamina. They're often known for this unrelenting, grinding pressure style. And importantly, Jade had a reputation. Many considered him genuinely unbeatable.
So this was Art's entry into the elite tier.
Absolutely. He was facing a dog known for pure, relentless attrition.
So Art was facing a dog that physically embodied the kind of brute force and persistence that Art himself would later be contrasted with. How did Jade start the contest?
Jade employed his signature, high-pressure strategy. He attacked hard and fast, aiming to overwhelm Art physically and mentally, within the first hour.
Just a blitz.
Total blitz. The records specifically describe Jade burying hard into Art's chest and shoulders. This is a deliberate, exhausting move designed to crush the opponent's will, compromise their breathing, and drain their core strength right away.
So Jade was trying to win on pure momentum and mass.
That's it.
Now here is the moment of genius. Instead of meeting this relentless fire with equal fire, Art made a choice. And it was both strategically brilliant and, I think, incredibly counterintuitive. What did Art do?
He refused to play that game. He refused to engage in that war of attrition. He demonstrated what we refer to as true intellectual restraint.
He fought smart.
He fought smart. His counter strategy was focused entirely on energy conservation and optimal defensive positioning. The historical accounts, they all emphasize that Art stayed meticulously out of trouble.
What does that mean, out of trouble?
It doesn't mean retreating. It means avoiding areas of engagement where Jade could land high-impact, leveraging damage. He was sacrificing momentary territorial advantage for long-term physical preservation.
That sounds incredibly risky. I mean, if you are facing an unbeatable dog known for relentless pressure, Pulling back and conserving energy could look like hesitation.
Or weakness.
Or weakness, yeah. It could potentially embolden the opponent. What was the underlying goal of that gamble?
It was a calculated risk that relied on Art's unique ability to gauge his opponent's physiological limits. Art was essentially forcing Jade to dictate a pace that his own physical system couldn't sustainably maintain.
So he was turning Jade's strength against him?
He was leveraging Jade's primary strength, his unrelenting nature, against him. Art understood that if he could minimize damage for that first half hour, Jade would inevitably pay a severe biological cost for his hyper-aggressive start. Art was playing chess while Jade was playing checkers.
And when did that patience finally pay off? What was the definitive turning point in this crucial match?
The tide began to turn, and turned dramatically, right around the 30-minute mark.
Okay.
Jade, having expended this immense energy and not successfully breaking Art's spirit or structure, began to show severe signs of exhaustion. Specifically, the sources pinpoint a significant breathing flaw.
A breathing flaw.
Yeah, a flaw that Art was able to recognize and exploit. Jade's relentless output pushed his respiratory system past its limit, causing a catastrophic failure of endurance.
And Art, having conserved his energy, must have just seen this opportunity open up like a chasm.
Absolutely. While Jade was visibly faltering, Art was described as being still fresh.
Wow.
And this contrast of fading powerhouse against a fresh, calculating adversary, it changed the entire dynamic. Once Jade was crippled by his own physical limitations, Art took decisive control. The plumbers, recognizing the now irreversible momentum shift in Jade's exhaustion, they conceded the match at 37 minutes.
You know, this match against Jade isn't just a point on a scorecard, is it? It's the core strategic narrative of Art's entire career.
It is the defining moment. It showcased his strategic mastery. Art demonstrated that success isn't about simply overpowering the opponent from the start. It's about understanding the internal clock of the fight.
Right.
He prioritized strategy, exceptional patience, and then delivered a decisive surgical offense when the opponent was weakest. It was resource management, intellectual restraint, and perfect timing, all rolled into one performance.
It fundamentally changes how we define gameness, doesn't it? It moves it beyond just endless physical persistence to include the intelligence required to deploy that persistence at the point of maximum effect.
Precisely. Gameness isn't just the willingness to continue. Art's gameness was the intelligence to know when to commit that willingness. It raises a fascinating question about strategic training and innate intellect.
Yeah.
Was Art trained to fight like a chess player? Or did he simply possess the innate wisdom to make that critical calculation under the highest possible pressure? The results. They suggest an inherent extraordinary level of pit wisdom.
Let's move into the third section then, and solidify this understanding by deconstructing his specific, repeatable fighting style. Because that intelligence had to be backed up by technical efficiency.
To understand Art's style, we have to break it down into its constituent parts. It wasn't just a collection of random attacks. It was a highly organized, systematic approach. The first component is, without a doubt, his intelligence and pit wisdom.
So what does that look like in practice? How do you see pit-wise ability expressed during a fast-moving, high-stress contest?
Well, being pit-wise means having an innate, intuitive understanding of the contest's geography and its flow. Art was known for dictating the pace and controlling the location of the engagement.
So he controlled the space.
He controlled the space. He knew precisely which positions minimized his exposure to damage while maximizing his leverage for a counteroffense. He wasn't just reacting. He was creating the narrative of the fight through masterful positioning, forcing his opponent into suboptimal angles.
And second, he combined that defensive intelligence with powerful offensive capability. He wasn't just a purely defensive dog.
Far from it. He possessed what the records call a hard mouth.
A hard mouth.
Which means his bite was not only exceptionally powerful, but that the pressure and duration of his hold were devastatingly effective. But the real genius was the targeting. He was surgical. He specifically focused on high-impact, mobility-limiting points.
Let's get technical here. Why the shoulders and the stifles? Why are those targets so much more effective than other points on the body?
Targeting the shoulders and stifles is fundamentally about disabling mobility and leverage. When a dog attacks the stifles, that's the joint connecting the femur and tibia, it severely compromises the opponent's ability to drive forward, to turn, or to maintain a solid base.
I see.
If the stifles are damaged, the opponent loses the ability to generate power or change direction effectively.
It's like kicking out the pillar of a building.
Exactly. And targeting the shoulders achieves a similar result in the front end. It limits the opponent's reach, their ability to maneuver, and their capacity to utilize their chest and neck effectively for leverage or pressure. By systematically applying his hard mouth to these critical joints, Art could methodically dismantle his opponent's structural integrity. This led to a breakdown that was comprehensive and often morale-crushing.
And the third component, which we keep coming back to, is the balance.
The balance is everything. Art successfully combined that precise surgical offensive capability, the hard mouth targeting the stifles, with his high defensive intelligence.
Which allowed him to avoid damage.
Which allowed him to avoid accumulating unnecessary damage. Most dogs specialize, you know. They're either relentless crushers who take a lot of damage, or they're brilliant defensive handlers who might lack the finishing power.
But Art was both.
Art was the rare dog who mastered both. He fought efficiently, which meant his durability was extended over a prolonged, successful career.
This unique combination was what earned him that universal respect, even from his early detractors.
It transcended rivalry. The sources clearly confirmed that the consensus shifted, and shifted rapidly. Even those who questioned his lineage early on, they conceded that he was a dog any man would be proud to feed.
And that's high praise.
That phrase is high praise and signifies that Art possessed not only proven gameness in the clutch, but also the consistency and reliability that dogmen valued above all else. His intrinsic quality was simply too high to deny.
This rising fame and this undeniable proven quality led directly to the attention of some major figures in the sport.
Yes, his career momentum was just unstoppable. Match 4 was another consistent performance against Chicken Sam's Gator, resulting in a victory in 30 minutes. He was just showcasing systematic dominance. Match 5 was quicker still. He won in 20 minutes against a representative of Adams and Crutchfield. And this victory, it served as the ultimate trial run.
And that fifth win was the final piece of evidence Adams and Crutchfield needed. They saw the blueprint for future success, and they acted immediately.
They did. Recognizing his superior caliber, his proven record, his strategic mind, his genetic potential, Adams and Crutchfield purchased Art for $2,500 immediately after that fifth win.
And given the context of the era and his trajectory, $2,500 must have been a significant investment at the time.
It was.
But it was quickly seen as an incredible value.
It was viewed as a phenomenal bargain. They weren't just acquiring a current 5-time winner. They were acquiring a proven genetic asset and a dog whose systematic approach suggested a long, successful career ahead.
Both in the pit and at stud.
And, critically, at stud. This investment signaled their belief that Art was destined for true legend status.
So let's move now to Section 4. Cementing that grand champion status. How did Art transition from being a star contender to reaching that elite 7xw status under his new banner?
Well, the sixth challenge required Art to face Cumberland Rasmus's Polar. By this point, Art was the man to beat. He was carrying the weight of massive expectations. And Polar was a formidable opponent who required Art to utilize all his strategic knowledge.
Did we see any deviation from his established strategic blueprint in this high-stakes match?
No. He stuck to the system. Art maximized his specialized attack, focusing intensely and relentlessly on dominating Polar's shoulders and stifles.
The same strategy.
His continued targeted pressure, it prevents the opponent from ever settling into a rhythm or mounting a stable counterattack. It is just systematic destruction.
And how long did it take Art to secure the victory against such a high-caliber opponent?
This match went longer than most, which indicates Polar's resilience. 1 hour and 12 minutes.
Over an hour.
And this time detail is actually incredibly important. To maintain tactical superiority and physical intensity for over 70 minutes demonstrates a level of physical conditioning and, more importantly, sustainable gameness that few dogs ever achieve. He conserved energy early, allowing him to be devastatingly effective well into the second hour. And following this monumental victory, he secured his 7th and final win, cementing his status as a 7X winner and, of course, grand champion.
7 wins is rare enough, but here is the detail, the statistical nugget from the sources that really encapsulates his entire career's philosophy and dominance.
This part is amazing.
Of all his matches, only one dog ever scratched back to him.
This specific statistic is perhaps the greatest testament to Art's efficiency and psychological impact. Let's break that down for the listener.
Please do.
Scratching back means that after the contest pauses, the opposing dog still possesses the physical capacity and the mental fortitude, the gameness, to cross the required line and re-engage the contest.
So 6 out of his 7 opponents were simply unable or unwilling to continue the fight against him.
Exactly. Art defeated his opponents so completely, so systematically, that their bodies or their will or, both were broken.
Wow.
It indicates that his targeted surgical approach, focusing on those mobility limiting points, was devastatingly effective at finishing the contest before the opponent could rally or recover.
So he wasn't surviving 7 wars.
No, he was executing 7 decisive confrontations. This speaks volumes about the sheer destructive efficiency of his hard-mouth targeting combined with his strategic timing, which just shut down the fight before he accumulated significant damage himself.
It's the difference between beating someone down through sheer force and clinically disabling them.
Right.
He achieved that ultimate goal, minimizing personal risk while maximizing opponent destruction.
That surgical approach is why he's a legend. He had the physical power of a great champion, but he deployed it with the mind of a tactical genius. And this achievement of 7 wins, with such decisive finishes, it immediately qualified him for recognition beyond the pit.
Which led directly into his ROM status.
Exactly, his Register of Merit status, which is the gateway to discussing his impact on the future of the breed.
That brings us perfectly into our 5th section, legacy, offspring, and the tragic end. His fighting career was complete, but his influence was really just beginning to be felt globally.
With his 7xw status secured, Art became one of the most highly prized stud dogs in the history of the breed. He was offered at stud at the relatively young age of just 3 years old.
That's young.
It's very young. This reflects the intense demand and the absolute confidence Adams and Crutchfield had in his ability to pass on his unparalleled combination of traits.
And the marketing they used to advertise him was beautifully simple. It just rested entirely on his proven character.
It needed no complicated slogan. The advertisements prominently featured that legendary nickname known throughout the sport, Art, the dog with a heart.
That says it all.
It was the ultimate guarantee of quality. It referenced his proven ability to maintain his focus, his discipline, and his strategic mindset under the highest duress.
And the sources confirmed that his bloodline was successful in reliably passing on his signature traits. He wasn't just a one-off champion, he was a consistent producer.
He was a genetic goldmine. His offspring reliably inherited and expressed his core characteristics.
So the gameness.
The extraordinary gameness, the high degree of intelligence or pit-wiseness necessary for that strategic endurance, and critically, the quality of his mouth, that powerful, precise targeting capability.
And that consistency is the foundation of the ROM status.
It is. The Register of Merit is awarded based on the number of titled offspring a dog produces, which confirms that his influence was powerful and widespread.
Let's talk specifics then. Who were the top names that cemented his ROM status and demonstrated the depth of his genetic contribution?
The list is a veritable dynasty. Art's production record is what truly immortalized him. Among his most influential progeny you find.
Go on.
GR Mike, a highly influential dog who often exhibited Art's surgical, efficient style. You have Trin Strike, known for inheriting that deep-seated gameness and powerful physique. Shake Luke, who was significant not just for his own wins, but for carrying forward Art's strategic intelligence into later generations. Sheep Bumper, a proven winner whose consistency echoed his sire's reliability.
And it wasn't just males.
No, absolutely not. You have Case Layla and Chase Queenie, proving Art's ability to pass on championship quality through his female line, which is essential for long-term genetic influence.
To produce multiple grand champions and champions in the very next generation is the ultimate measure of a dog's lasting legacy. Art didn't just win, he reproduced his winning formula.
He did.
But, as we discussed earlier, a shadow hung over his career, echoing the tragic end of his own sire, Eli Jr.
That symmetry is one of the saddest chapters in this history. Unfortunately, Art's physical contribution was tragically cut short.
Just like his father.
Like Eli Jr., Art was eventually stolen. The historical community views this event as one of the most profound losses of genetic material to the breed in that era.
And the impact of that theft, it really can't be overstated, particularly when we consider the caliber of dogs he was producing.
We can only speculate on the champions and genetic lines he would have established had he remained available for breeding for his full lifespan. His disappearance, it halted a dynasty in motion.
Right.
He was an active stud, and that theft created an immediate and irreplaceable gap in the genetic pool, ensuring his story would forever contain this element of profound, unrealized potential.
Yet, even with his disappearance, the sources are clear. Art's legacy is preserved.
Absolutely. His genetic footprint is immortalized through the success of those descendants, Mike, Luke, Strike, and the rest. His bloodline continues to influence high-caliber dogs today.
And his story.
And his story, detailing that unmatched strategic mind, the dog with the heart, who was also the ultimate strategist, is preserved through the dedicated work of historians and enthusiasts.
And that leads us perfectly into our final synthesis, bringing together the intelligence and the sheer will that defined him.
When we look back at GR CH Adams and Crutchfield's art, the 7xw ROM, we are not simply celebrating a great fighter. We're studying a masterpiece of strategic execution. He is remembered for the total package. The surgical precision of his hard mouth, the exceptional gameness that earned his legendary nickname, and the supreme intelligence that allowed him to be pit-wise.
Right.
He was the complete competitor, one of the greatest to ever look through a collar.
And the core takeaway for you, the listener, whether you are preparing for a meeting, studying history, or simply appreciating competitive excellence, is this. True. Repeatable greatness in any field hinges on the successful integration of strategic thinking and sheer will.
Right.
Art combined the disciplined mind of a master chess player with the heart of an unwavering warrior.
That combination is what elevates him. He demonstrated that raw heart by itself is insufficient for sustained dominance. It has to be guided by calculation and resource management. He won because he understood not only his own strengths, but the precise physiological limitations of his opponent, and critically, his own energy expenditure.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave you with a provocative thought that requires a little bit of reflection. Think about the physical pressure involved in achieving 7 dominant wins. Art was known for overwhelming physical superiority. Yet his defining hallmark was his purely chess-like strategy that emphasized energy conservation and avoiding unnecessary damage.
And you have to consider that paradox. How difficult is it, in the heat of a grueling physical confrontation, to possess overwhelming power but choose not to use it immediately? To pull back, conserve energy, and think several moves ahead, relying on your superior physical endurance to win the long game. Art didn't just define controlled aggression, he defined tactical mastery under duress.
That's psychological discipline.
That psychological discipline, perhaps more than his physical record, is his ultimate achievement.
So if this detailed history of the APBT and Gamedogs resonated with you, if you found the specifics of Art's lineage, his strategy, and his legacy fascinating, we strongly encourage you to continue your exploration of this incredible heritage.
Remember that the specific historical sources we used, the pedigrees, the fight accounts, and a truly massive wealth of additional historical material are preserved and readily available for the dedicated enthusiast. Seek out APBT INFO on the web or their YouTube channel. They are committed to preserving hundreds of hours of this rich history, ensuring that the stories of dogs like Art Perditial, their genetic contributions, their complex strategies, and their indelible legacies continue to inspire and educate everyone who loves the breed.
An incredible history for an incredible calculated champion. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We look forward to exploring the next piece of history with you soon.